My names are Mheshimiwa Mr. Robert Makokha. This morning I stand here to comment on about 3 issues only because today I don't have much to say. To begin with, on Saturday there was a funeral of Mama Mukami, Kimathi, a very important woman in this nation called Kenya, because once I mention the name Kimathi, you must understand that that is a freedom fighter. Just like the way we respect maybe the office of the wife to the president, that is the same way Mukami should be respected, because she was the wife to the freedom fighter, none other than Dedan Kimathi. Now, may her soul rest in peace. To begin with, while at the funeral, the second in command, who is none other than Rigathi Gachagua, stood and said something that actually did not go well with the citizens and the taxpayers of this country. One of the statements which he made was that Kikuyus are full in Kenyan prisons and no one is complaining while they are there. But when Kikuyus are given many national appointments by the president, people begin to complain. Now, personally, as a Kenyan citizen, I thought that we take our children to school to come out successfully after graduation so that they can acquire jobs because they have paid for the same to study. I never knew that in our country we are appointed based on the closeness to the president. I never knew that in our country, Kenya, we are given state appointments because a given tribe has many people. In Kenya, I never knew that. In Kenya, you are given a state appointment because you voted for the president. A president is a symbol of the national unity. And therefore, that means that whether a given community votes for him or not, it is an obligation of the head of state to supply or to give out equal distribution of the national resources. Now, when Mr. Rigathi Gachagua stands to say that Kikuyus are the majority and they voted for him, is he meaning that only the Kikuyus woke up very early in the morning to go and vote Ruto, assuming that he won fairly? I'm making an assumption because you understand everything that went on. That is one. I should summarize by saying or responding that Kenyans are appointed based on their qualifications and not the kind of friendship that their leaders have with the president. Let me comment about the same issue. Now, still at the funeral of Mama Mukami, we realized that the opposition leader, Mr. Raila Odinga, greeted them very well, and later on we realized that they were somewhere in Nairobi together. Yesterday we experienced the same thing. We saw the president and Mr. Raila Odinga together. Our humble request to Azimio leader, Mr. Raila Amolo Odinga, do not try to move closer to Ruto so that you sabotage the agenda of the people of Kenya. People of Kenya are suffering, and should you fall for the trap set for you, for the handshake, which most of the people will believe that it is only going to benefit you and not the whole nation, you will have done a very big crime to this country. You will have betrayed the voter of this country, and we are not going to allow that. Let the talks, the bipartisan talks, move on as expected. Let the talks proceed well and they should accept to lower the cost of living. Should the cost of living not be is not going to be lowered by the same government, you should actually signal us to go back to the streets, because it is provided for in the Kenyan constitution. When we go to picket, it is within our jurisdiction that we are fighting for our own rights. Therefore, don't force a handshake on President Ruto if at all he is not willing to do so. And especially if the handshake is not going to capture the interest of the Mwananchi of this nation. Kindly keep off Mr. Ruto, because at the end of this, we are likely to see you falling for the trap, and then you say that kila mahali dunia mzima maisha imepanda, so tupe rais time. We don't want that scenario to appear in a near future. Another point is about KEMSA. Let me comment about KEMSA. If you watch television very well, yesterday there was a mention that KEMSA, which is the biggest supplier of drugs and poison in Kenya, is facing bankruptcy. It is on the verge of collapsing. Reason being, they owe the suppliers, there is a deficit of 3.8 billion by the same commission called KEMSA. Therefore, what I should say is that the president should move with a lot of speed to fix the mess at KEMSA, because KEMSA plays a very big role in the supply of drugs to our hospitals in Kenya. And we are not going to be ready to experience a scenario whereby the doctors are not paid, and at the same time there is no drugs in our hospitals to make sure that our patients get treated, because wako wanakatwa NHIF ya kutosha na imeongezewa. Sasa I fail to understand why KEMSA do not have money. And KEMSA is one of the institutions in Kenya that we actually rely upon, because the hardship that is being faced was caused during President Uhuru's regime. But those people who are believed to have looted KEMSA through scandalous deals are the same people who are today in Kenya Kwanza government. Sasa president asituambie kwamba eti watu wenye waliangusha KEMSA ama waliiba KEMSA ati walikuwa wa regime ya Uhuru Kenyatta. No, we are reminding him that those people who looted KEMSA are now in Kenya Kwanza, the likes of Atwoli and all other Kenya Kwanza allies. Therefore, the president should stand firm and fight for that house so that our hospitals are restored with the necessary equipments for everything to move on. Finally, let me comment about this presenter by the name Job or Ayub. Ayub who? Ayub Abdikadir. Yesterday, Ayub was a very bold young man. Without fear of any contradiction, Ayub Abdikadir posed his questions boldly to the president and asked the president that President William Ruto, we elected you very well with your deputy, assuming all Kenyans voted for you. How comes your deputy recklessly makes statements that are contradicting to your administration? Do you own the words by your deputy president when he says that Kenya is a shareholding company, or you don't own those words? Also, while at Nyeri, your DP said that Kikuyus are the ones who should be given more appointments than the rest of the country's people, because Kikuyus are many in prison. Now, my question is, who sent many Kikuyus in the prisons? As far as a law is concerned, a person who is found in jail is only that person who has committed a crime. So you cannot tell us that a given community should have many people jailed for them in turn to be given more political or national appointments. That is very wrong for our president and our deputy president. So when such a question was posed by Abdikadir, the president said that you can organize an interview with the deputy president so that he can stand a better chance to answer to those questions. And I believe that president, being the head of state, discusses with the deputy president, who is the second in command, before they go for a given function. Is indeed not so. President hata akitoka inji aende inji ingine, he must have a sitting with his deputy, wapange inji ndi aondoke. How comes yesterday he was disowning his deputy president that he does not speak on his behalf? They must come out openly and tell us if they are taking us for granted or they are seriously ruling us, because this man has on several occasions told us that Kenya is a shareholding company. Now, how many shares you as a citizen of Kenya do you have in this nation? How much of the share of Kenya do I have? Because it is being said that my people should be many in prison so that the government can also employ people from my side, because my people are in prison. Given that I have not committed any crime, how do you expect me to be in prison, to be in turn given national or state appointments? That is very wrong, and we should stand firm as a country to correct that menace. So, as I said, I don't have much to say today, because I always say that tunakula kushiba, hatukuli kumaliza. To finish with, I must recognize myself. I said that I am, or my names are Mheshimiwa Robert Makokha Wangoho. Thank you very much. Have a good day. May God bless you.